bro, this man tried to ban ICE from New York, called them Trump fascist agents, and now ICE might literally deport him. You can't make this up. Now, this goes way deeper than most people realize, from tax scandals to ties to anti-American groups to now actual deportation violence. Watch this from start to finish, because if you miss a piece, you won't understand how insane this really is. Tom Homan, take it away.
Mayor candidate, he hasn't won yet, but he won the Democratic primary, Zohran Mamdani. So he's saying, I mean, this is incredible. He's vowed to kick the, quote, fascist ICE out of New York City, okay? So how do you intend to deal with that? Because I would guess there are going to be a lot of criminals and Iranian cells and whatnot in New York City. The job's not done there. What do you say to this guy?
Good luck with that. Federal law.
I know that's right.
Him every day, every hour of every minute. We're going to be in New York City. Matter of fact, because it's a sanctuary city, President Trump made it clear a week and a half ago. We're going to double down and triple down on sanctuary cities. If we can't arrest a bad guy in a county jail, one agent arresting one bad guy, they release him in the streets like New York does every day. We got to send a whole team to look for this guy. And not only that, we're going to send additional teams to look for all the people they arrest. We're going to concentrate in sanctuary cities because we know they're releasing public safety threats and national security threats back to the street. So we know we got a problem there. So we don't have that problem in Florida where most sheriffs work for us. So we're going to double up and triple up on New York. And not only are we going to send more agents to the neighborhood, we're going to increase worksite enforcement tenfold. If we can't arrest them in the jail, you're going to force them in the neighborhood, then we'll find them in the neighborhood. If we can't find them in the neighborhood, we'll find them at the worksite. So game on. We're coming. My
guy's tripling down. ICE doesn't care what this woke man says, not even a little bit. Federal law overrides sanctuary city fantasies every day of the week. And the entire city of New York could scream, ban ICE, and ICE would still show up and operate in full force. I'm trying to let y'all know, Tom Homan is not a bluffer. He is not bluffing. He was appointed by none other than your boy Trump. He's under Trump right now. You know, funny how the man trying to ban ICE is now facing ICE laws himself. He's facing, what? Now, this is what happens when ideology meets reality, y'all. And don't trust me, it ain't just the feds checking in. Look who pulled up next. Got 50 Cent right here. Now, I'll tell you what he says after we play whatever this man says.
I've proposed is that we raise $10 billion to pay for our entire economic agenda and start to Trump-proof our city, because we know he'll use federal funding as leverage over the city. And we will do so in two key ways. The first is to match the state's top corporate tax rate to that of New Jersey. We are at 7.25%. They're at 11.5%. Corporations can pay it over there. They can pay it over here. And the beauty of it is that it doesn't just apply to corporations headquartered in New York City. Because when you say this, people will say, well, they're going to go to Florida. Wherever you are headquartered, as long as you do business in the state of New York, you are taxable for that corporate tax. We're talking about corporations that are making millions of dollars, not in revenue, but in profit. And the second is taxing the top 1% of New Yorkers. We're talking about people who make $1 million a year or more, taxing them just by flat 2% tax increase. And I know if 50 Cent is listening, he's not going to be happy about this. He tends to not like this tax policy, but I want to be very clear. This is about $20,000 a year. It's a rounding error. And all of these things together, they make every New Yorker's life better, including those who are actually getting taxed.
So 50 Cent said, where did he come from? Whose friend is this? He also said, I'm not filling this plan. No, I will give him $258,750 and a first class one-way ticket away from New York. I'm telling you, Trump, what he said too. I'm telling Trump what he said too. I'm sorry. I know that's right, man. But even 50 Cent is fed up with the Democrat policies. You know it's bad. 50 Cent left New York because of the high taxes. This ain't just jokes, man. This is real frustration from real success stories, too, at that. You know, they tax the winners, then call the winners greedy when they leave. They wonder why their city is going broke. Democrat Party going broke, period, though. Yep. Zohran, how you say this man's name? Mamdani? Literally represents the exact thing 50 Cent left to get away from. And he talking about, you gonna tell Trump what he said. That street code for get him up out of here, man. But this ain't just a cultural moment, y'all. The government is now stepping in. Y'all to watch this. I'm sorry, not watch this. I should have prepared myself. Look at this. U.S. Rep. Andy Ongles just sent a letter to AG Pam Bondi calling for the deneutralization and deportation of NYC Democrat mayoral nominee Zohran Mamdani. It says Rep. Andy Ongles, or I could be saying his name wrong, cites that Mamdani may have concealed material support for terrorism when he obtained U.S. citizenship? Whoa. So this man may have concealed material support for terrorism when he applied for citizenship. Y'all, this ain't internet. What? This ain't just internet drama, y'all. This is getting legal. Now, if you lied on your citizenship paperwork, game is over. Your citizenship gets revoked. Whether it's ties to anti-American groups, BDS movements, I'm reading right here, pro-Hamas rhetoric. If he hit any of that, man, he's definitely out. And this just ain't about ICE anymore. It's about being removed from America entirely. Bro, this man tried to deport ICE from New York. Well, he trying to. That's what he campaigned, you know. Now he might, oh, man. This deep in the politics, y'all. This is national security mixed with karma, but on steroids. And, yo, the irony in this next part is just beyond crazy.
We have won because New Yorkers have stood up for a city they can afford. A city where they can do more than just struggle. One where those who toil in the night can enjoy the fruits of their labor in the day. Where hard work is repaid with a stable life. Where 8 hours on the factory floor or behind the wheel of a cab is enough to pay the mortgage. It is enough to keep the lights on. It is enough to send your kid to school. Where rent-stabilized apartments are actually stabilized. Where buses are fast and free. Where childcare doesn't cost more than CUNY. And where public safety keeps us truly safe. And it's where the mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism. To stop mass ICE agents from deporting our neighbors. And to govern our city as a model for the Democratic Party.
What do you say? You're gonna reject Trump's fascism, stop mass ICE agents? Mass ICE agents, though, man. No, that's called law enforcement. They're law enforcement, okay? Man he's running his whole campaign on ban ICE right now. Fight Trump, fight borders, and now look who's knocking on his door. ICE. Man. You know, the same agencies he's trying to weaponize voters against might end up handing him his own deportation file. And if this ain't the definition of play stupid games, win stupid prizes, man, you can't make this up. I think I'm about to sneeze. Woo. Yeah, I know we allergic to the. Put it in the comments if you know. But if you thought that was wild in any capacity, wait until you see what resurfaced about his tax plan. Breaking: a proposal by NYC mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani to shift tax burdens to white neighborhoods has resurfaced. Yeah, man, let me see if I can make it bigger for y'all to go ahead and read through it, you know. Some of the words off the screen, but y'all see what's in red. He actually proposed to shift the tax burden based on racial demographics. Pushing neighborhoods because they're too white. That's not equality. That's racism with paperwork right there. That's exactly what that is. And the crazy part, the same people or the same neighborhoods that already pay the lion's share of the taxes keep the city afloat. And if they leave, the city collapses. Now, who does that hurt most? The same people he claims to protect. This ain't tax the rich no more, y'all. This is target the group. Big, big difference. And if you thought the tax thing was crazy, man, you ain't ready for this next one. You're not. Listen to my guy speak, y'all. Listen.
One of the things that we've said beyond saying we're going to make this a sanctuary city for LGBTQIA plus workers, beyond saying that we're going to establish an office of LGBTQIA plus affairs, is also that we're going to provide $65 million in funding for gender-affirming care, the same amount of funding that the federal government threatened to pull out from local providers for that kind of work. And in this moment especially, if we want to fight the Trump administration, we have to do so by fully funding our own services, taxing the wealthiest New Yorkers and corporations here. And one of the things that we've said beyond saying we're going to make this a sanctuary city for
$65 million in one of the most economically broken cities in America for this? Funding gender-affirming care. Y'all, small businesses are closing, crime is up, homelessness is through the roof, and this is the priority. This. Not fixing schools, not fixing public safety, $65 million towards surgeries. That's insane. This is the same guy screaming about equality. Why he chasing policies that are gonna collapse the economy. Come on, man. And guess what? The NYPD heard all of this. Yes, they did, and they had something to say about it too. Listen.
There was a primary in New York. The Socialist won. His name's Zohran Mamdani.
That retarded guy. Oh, man, this guy's mentally disturbed. It's terrible. Whoever voted for him is heavily medicated. Because, come on, man, we're trying to get things done right.
He has a famous tweet up that says, the New York City Police Department, we know that they hate gays and queer people and trans people.
Because he's gay. That's why. He doesn't want nobody to know that he's gay, so he's being quiet about it. A lot of people like to be quiet about their gayness. But this guy's probably the biggest gay lord in the 5 boroughs of the New York City area.
Gay! He said he wants to defund the police. You down with that?
No, man. I got 32 years on the job.
Thank you for your service.
You know, people like this guy, sometimes we just got to bounce them off our chest and hope for the best, man. Because the people that probably voted for him were afraid. But that's the only way I see it.
So he says he wants to defund the police. Would that be a bad thing for the city of New York?
It would be bad, but I don't think that's going to happen because we're too strong. You know, he won by luck. But that's the way it works, man. We're going to stay here forever, brother. NYPD forever.
Not going to top that. There was a primary.
Definitely not. And just like ICE, NYPD don't care about his woke policies. And like he said, they're not going anywhere. A mayoral candidate, let me correct myself, who wants to defund them? Nah, man. NYPD been through a lot. You got to think about it, 9/11, these riots and protests. I can tell you, they built different for sure. They survived, or surviving rather, AOC. And that survived him too. If he is chosen. Honestly, I'll take that back. I hope, I would say I hope that they survive. That's a correction. And the moment he faces deportation, who does he call to protect him? Same cops he's trying to cancel, y'all. Y'all see how I got to point it all out. But bruh, this don't just stop at New York City, man. This goes global.
Let's go ahead and get the screenshot of him saying, Zohran Mamdani saying, defund the NYPD. He wants to completely get rid of the NYPD. So, you know, imagine 9/11. Imagine 9/11 24 years ago with no police. Could you imagine what would happen if those planes, you know, flown by Muslims, flew into the towers and there were no police officers to respond? There were no, NYPD police officers or firefighters to respond to the rubble and the burning buildings. Could you imagine? Just imagine 9/11 with no police. That's what Zohran Mamdani wants. Let's go ahead and get his tweet back on the screen here. We don't need an investigation to know that the NYPD is racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety. We need to defund the NYPD, which means no funding whatsoever. So there's not going to be any police. So if you get robbed at gunpoint or somebody rapes you, oh well, there's not going to be a police officer. We're not going to have anybody to investigate crimes. It's just going to be the wild, wild west.
Well, you may get some sort of be able to sit down with your attacker and go through a struggle session together, you know, and get resolution that way. But seriously, the last time, see, Mamdani is a member of Democratic Socialists of America. That is actually allied to the Cuban communists. It is a communist organization that is allied to the Communist Party USA, the Liberation Road, all the other Marxist and pro-Chinese groups. But in the 90s, we had a mayor in New York, a man called David Dinkins. And Dinkins wrecked New York. Crime went up through him. He didn't support the police. Times Square was a pit of prostitution and drugs and crime. The tourists stayed away. The economy sucked. And Giuliani had to come and sort the mess out. Well, David Dinkins was also a member of Democratic Socialists of America. He was also a Marxist. But compared to Mamdani, he was a hard rock-ribbed conservative. You know, he was radical for his time, but he would be a pussy compared to Mamdani today. So, you know, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at a Shia 12er Muslim who hates the police, hates Israel in the largest Jewish city in America, who is a communist, an activist communist with 20,000 communists in a support team, about to take over the world's largest financial center. And he doesn't believe in police. He doesn't believe in the traditional justice system. You know, this is a recipe for disaster beyond imagining. This makes David Dinkins look wimpy.
Yeah, this ain't just progressive politics anymore. This is ideology that tears the country apart. Open borders, anti-police, anti-ICE, tax the opposition. This is definitely a blueprint for collapse, if you ask me. And yo, whether you believe everything Lewis said or not, the facts are his policies are openly anti-law enforcement, anti-border, and anti-capitalism. And if ICE, Congress, NYPD, and 50 Cent are all, let me include the general public, and all against you, rather, maybe you the problem. This is what happens when New Yorkers wake up and say, look, they done had enough. Enough is enough. Look, man, this is national security. This is taxation. This is law and order. This is culture. This is identity. This guy trying to ban ICE, and now ICE might ban you from the country? Crazy. Y'all be safe. Go check out somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.